So recently I realized that I've been going through my physical TBR far too fast because I keep reading books on my physical TBR and I'm not buying enough. So to counter that problem, I have gone through my Goodreads TBR, made a list based on genres of all the books that I kind of don't want to read, but I also do, that have been on my Goodreads TBR that I'm not going to prioritize anytime soon. So on my radar, but not high priority. I selected 3 books from each genres, put it on Instagram story, and let people decide based on whatever criteria they wanted. They liked the cover, they hated the book, or whatever they wanted me to suffer. People voted, and these are my results. These are the books that I'm reading. I have 9 genres. The first one is romantasy. I wanted to separate romance from fantasy and have a separate category specifically for romantasy, and only 2 books were actually on that list. So I ended up adding Radiance by Grace Draven and The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. People voted for The Book of Azrael. So for romantasy, I will be reading The Book of Azrael. For horror, I've added Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. It was one of my most anticipated releases for, I think, 2023. And Imaginary Friend by Steven Chbosky, but the reason why I've been avoiding that one is because it's massive. So people went with Imaginary Friend. For apocalyptic, I have only 3 choices. We have Broken by Imogen Keeper. We have The Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton, I don't know, the author of the Jurassic Park. And we have Nora Roberts' Year One. Technically, Nora Roberts, that could be, I think, fantasy, but because it features a plague, I just added it in. And people went with The Andromeda Strain. Next genre is historical. This includes fiction and non-fiction. I didn't want to be very specific about it. I have quite a big list of books on this one, but I've decided to pick 3, and the 3 I picked were The Deep by Alma Katsu, which has something to do with Titanic. I picked Ghost Stalkers, which is in World War II and Spirit Realm, and it's kind of paranormal. And we have Romanov. My followers chose The Deep, which I'm excited because I actually wanted that one. For thriller, I have 2 choices: Survive the Night by Riley Sager or 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. People chose 8 Perfect Murders, which I was surprised, but also I didn't like Riley Sager's The Only One Left, so maybe they did me a favor. Non-fiction, we have Lost to Sea by John Wukowitz. We have Nothing to Fear by Julie McFadden. We have What Do You Want Out of Life by Valerie Tiberius. This one was quite close, I would say, because the first, Lost at Sea, and What Do You Want Out of Life have been tied for quite a while, but Lost at Sea ended up winning, and I think it's because of the cover. Science fiction, I also have quite a big list, but I ended up choosing 3 books. Ascension by Nicholas Binge, All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is a reread because I'm stuck on The Network Effect and I kind of forgot everything, so I have to reread the series. And The Deep Sky by Yume Kitase. I wanted to read The Deep Sky and Ascension. All Systems Red was kind of my least favorite that I wanted to kind of pick up right now, but people chose All Systems Red, which is fine. For romance, I have only 3 picks, and I had The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I had The Trouble with Quarterbacks by R.S. Gray, which is one of my favorite authors. Her books are hit and miss for me, but I always enjoy them even if I don't rate them high. And How to Honeymoon Alone by Olivia Hale. Here I wanted to kind of read How to Honeymoon Alone because I read the synopsis and I enjoyed it, but because it's so popular, people went with the fine print. For fantasy, I also have a big list of books, but I ended up going with Off Poseidon by Anna Banks, The Bow Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones, and the first book in the Zodiac Academy by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. So this one was heavily tied between The Bow Houses and the Zodiac Academy, so I made a separate post, pit these 2 against each other, and people heavily chose the Zodiac Academy. I think The Bow Houses had zero votes. I forgot to take a screenshot of that poll, but the Zodiac Academy wins by far. And that is it. These are the books that I'm going to be reading for this video. Maybe I'm going to do a part 2. We shall see how long it is, but I'll see you when I read the first book. I'm about to go to work, even though I was sick for the past 2 days. I also still have a cold, but I did a spread yesterday, my low priority TBR, split it into the genres. So here I have a list of books that people have voted on, just so that I don't forget, because this list kind of encompasses all the books that I was supposed to read, but I'm prioritizing for this video just 1 book per genre. Yesterday I already dove in and read 1 book from my current favorite genre, which is science fiction. So that means I read All Systems Red by Martha Wells. It is the first book in the Murderbot series, and basically it's about this Murderbot, is how he calls himself. He's a robot that is hacked and doesn't have to do what his company is telling him to do, and he's being sent on this mission with this group of people who are in danger. When I initially read it, it was a 4-star read. This time it was a 3.5. I didn't really remember anything at all from the last time I read it, which was like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember that it was a fun read. It wasn't too bad, and yeah, this time I rated it 3.5 stars. I'm making food because I'm working tomorrow. Somewhere along the way I also lost my voice again. I don't want to call in sick, but I'm also afraid I'm gonna lose my voice again, because the last time I went to work, I lost it completely, even though it was quite fine the day before. I'm making this chicken with some sort of Asian sauce that I've had just lying around in my fridge, and I was like, okay, let's make that. And I'm making myself dinner as well. Yeah, right now my rice is cooking along with broccoli, and that's what I'm doing right now. Picked up The Book of Azrael. I read the synopsis for the first time, which admittedly I should have done that before I put it on the list, because I would have realized that this book is not for me, because I don't really like urban fantasy. Also, that's why I'm afraid to pick up Crescent City. I've decided to give it a fair shot. I've tried picking it up. I only got to 2%, like the first chapter, and honestly, I don't like the world, I don't like the setting, and it's gonna bother me. So at least I tried it, at least it's off my TBR now. But yeah, if I ever want to pick it up, I can always get it from the library, I can always pick it up again. I don't have anything else to say. Except maybe I should say that the whole point of this video is to try books that I would not prioritize normally, and to try books that are low priority on my TBR that I have been avoiding, so I don't have to necessarily read them. I can just pick them up and see how it goes. I think this is not going to be the first time I DNF a book for this video or for this video series, so buckle up, it might be a journey. I flew today to Valencia and now I'm back, and I have just decided to kind of check in. Yesterday I actually started reading The Deep by, I think, Amakatsu, and the book so far is okay. I'm not too far into it. I believe that I'm about 10% into the book, and I know I had it under historical in the Instagram polls, even though this is technically a horror book, but because it's set in a historical setting, I decided to put it under historical. So technically this is a horror book as well. I am not, like I said, I'm not too far into it. So far it's about this nurse. I'm not sure if she was on Titanic as a nurse, but she was on Titanic when it sank. She actually is kind of a hero because she saved the baby. I don't really know what correlation that has to do with something, because there was this, I think, a guy that she loved and she saved his baby, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Then she kind of loses her memory. She's in this, not necessarily asylum, but like a mental health hospital. Then she gets discharged and she basically becomes a nurse for Britannic, whatever, Titanic sister ship. And I think people are gonna die and things are gonna go down on this ship as well. That's where I am right now with that book. We have so many books here, guys, so many books that I have to try out, but for the sake of this video, I'm doing one book per genre. So The Deep is on the chopping block this time. Will it make it? Will it not? We shall see. I'm currently at 10%. Nothing has actually happened yet, but I can't wait until it starts, honestly. I just want to dive in. Let's get this party going. That's why I've not been picking it up as well. So I'm changing that today. Right now, the rich are having a seance on board the Titanic because weird things are happening. There was this one child that kind of got drawn by this song, and they're trying to figure out what attracted him, and people are saying maybe it's sirens, maybe it's ghosts. So yeah, we don't know much. Titanic and seances, I don't really know how I feel about that. And clearly we are now in the past of what happened before our main character went on to become a nurse in Britannic. Okay guys, we had our first death, and I have a feeling this is gonna be a murder mystery. I'm 20% in. I'm not really feeling it. I don't like the setting. I don't like the murder mystery in a historical setting. I'm gonna DNF it. Yeah, I feel good about that. Another book down. I feel good, because if it weren't for this video, I would have never picked this book up. It would be on my TBR. Would I pick it up? No. At least now I know what I'm dealing with, I guess. At least I give it a chance. I'm predicting that I will be DNFing a lot of books in this video series, just because a lot of them I didn't really read what they were about when I added them to this list, and when I had people vote. I liked the covers and I liked the genres. I mean, I did read what they were about years ago, but not recently. So what I might have been interested in years ago might not be the same case for now. And I always feel bad, like I need to give you legitimate reasons, and I feel like every single reason I give is not really valid enough. But you know what? This is what speaks to me. Reading should be fun. And if I'm not vibing with something, I'm not vibing with it. End of. I pulled an all-nighter today. I could not sleep. There are things that have been happening in my life that have been literally sending me into a panic attack. I have not left my house in 8 days. I have not been working for 14 days. Maybe that's what's been driving me stir crazy, but not just that, like other life stuff. So yeah, I've been just dealing with a lot. Then I had to go to work. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and I came back 11 hours later. Yeah, well, almost 12 hours later, but it's fine. I don't want to move out of my bed. I have a lot of pillows. It's very cozy. So you're just gonna have to deal with me talking in my bed, okay? Basically, the update is I have started reading the fine print, or actually I've started the audiobook version of it. This sweater has been in my family for like decades, literally decades. So I'm not giving it up, okay? You're just gonna have to. It's a family heirloom at this point. Yeah, I started reading the fine print, and it's interesting enough. It's about this girl who works at this company. He's part of the company, right? Like really high up. And he's given a task to kind of do something with this company, whatever. And they meet, and she is not like other girls, you know, like she tells him off. She literally does not shy away from telling him how she feels. She is a sunshine, he is grumpy, all of that. And then they start flirting. They kind of exchange numbers under a false pretense. He did a drawing for her, but she thinks that his friend did a drawing for her. So she wanted to thank him, so she gave him the phone number, but it's actually him. So the entire time, she's talking to him on the phone. That's the part that I actually don't really like. I don't like the keeping secrets. I don't like that about romance books at all. But so far, it's not been bad enough to DNF, so I'll take a win when I can. I don't have a couch. I don't have a dining table. I do have a desk where I normally eat, but I got takeout delivered. I decided to treat myself because I've been feeling actually really depressed. Not gonna lie, like I've been going through it. And I think it's because of an all-nighter. I don't think I've slept for, is that 34 hours? Which is fine. My body has never done this before. I'm just gonna say that. Like, I'm doing well when it comes to tiredness. I'm not that tired, to be honest. But yeah, let's see what I ordered. Because I ordered a lot and I just decided I'm gonna experiment. Let's just discuss, okay? I'm not a very pretty eater, so don't get your hopes up that I will be able to eat and discuss. Also, this is really hot. I'm 55% into the fine print. My thoughts are, this is painfully average. Like, this is so average. I don't even know whether to rate it 2 stars or 3 stars. I feel like my 15-year-old self could write better, which, spoiler alert, she probably did not, but it got her a Waddy Award, which does not say much. But still, the story is so, I don't get the chemistry. I don't feel the chemistry between the two characters. I don't have a reason to root for them. He's grumpy, she's sunshine, like, okay, fine, but why should I root for these characters? Something's missing with this story. And yeah, oh my god, he has such a tragic past. It's so sad. And she has a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend who hurt her. So she doesn't trust people. So she's not actually that sunshiny. Oh my god. I'm losing brain cells. I will continue. I have food, and so I might as well enjoy one aspect of my life. If I'm not enjoying the book, I might as well enjoy my food. Okay, first impressions. It was better in Ireland. I think this is a banana. Oh my god. I finished the fine print, and I think my Goodreads review was really harsh, but this is basically what I had to say. I rated it 2 stars. Painfully average and cheesy. I expected more for a book this popular. The writing wasn't the best. The entire plot was predictable, but also honestly feels like a copy-paste of every single other billionaire romance. Grumpy ex-sunshine, nothing original. The main characters don't seem to have that much chemistry, even though we were supposed to believe it. I didn't believe it. The spicy scenes leave much to be desired. So that's my review. I don't think I can word it any better than that. It was, I wouldn't waste my time on this one. However, I will continue with the second book maybe later on. I might give the author another chance later on. Because Laura Thalassa, for example, she was the author who wrote Rhapsodic. I absolutely hated that book because of the age difference also. I didn't like it. And then the Four Horsemen series was one of my favorites. So if it's fated, if it's meant to be, I will pick it up later on in my life. But for now, I'm good. Like, I read the book, it was on my list. So we're finished with Romance, which was a fine print. The Book of Azrael, which I did DNF. I am thinking of revisiting that one, maybe. We have Lost at Sea. I really don't feel like reading a nonfiction. The Andromeda Strain, which is like an apocalyptic book, or supposed to be. We have Zodiac Academy, Imaginary Friend for horror, and then 8 Perfect Murders. So because today is 28th of February, it's the last day in February, I'm going to be reading the Zodiac Academy, like the first one, The Awakening, in March. So I think this is going to be the next book for this video, but we'll see, because even I don't know. I'm just, whenever I pick one of these books up, I pick up the camera and I tell you about it. So that way I'm not forcing myself to read anything. If I don't know what to read, I just do it for one of these videos. And it's been working out great so far. I'm not gonna go to sleep anytime soon. My body is tired, but my mind doesn't want to shut down. Today is my first day back after 2 weeks of not flying at all and having annual leave, and my legs are killing me. I started Zodiac Academy yesterday and I am 11% into it. Guys, oh my god, what is this world? I don't want to read this. I have a fear of missing out, and a major one. So I think I will continue until, let's say, 30% mark and see if I like this. But so far, I don't like the world. I don't like bitchy characters, and the writing is not that good. There's so much that I can talk about that I don't like about this book. But realistically, I'm not even 20% into it. I'm 11% into it. I cannot judge something so quickly, but I often do because a lot of people love this series. I feel like I should read it. My sister said she gave them like 3 stars, that they're very average. She doesn't like them. I have like half a mind to ask her, hey, do you think I'm gonna like this series? Hey sister, do you think I would like Zodiac Academy? I started it, 11% into it. The beginning is rough. I don't really like the writing. I don't like the dual point of views. Is the spice and romance enough for me to continue. I really need to know because I might just DNF it. Does it get better from the beginning? Because I know people have binge read it and all of that, and that it's like it's their guilty pleasure. But yeah, is it addictive? I want to know. Okay, now we wait for her response. I'm reading like 3 or 4 books at the same time. I've yet to receive my sister's reply about Zodiac Academy, but I already know I'm gonna DNF it. You guys, I can't, it's so bad. I have decided I might give Book of Azrael another try. I'm thinking about it, I might give it another try. If I do, we will hear more about it in this video. Alright, so I have my low priority TBR here, and I have a few books that I still have to read for this video. I tried yesterday reading again the Book of Azrael. I realized that I don't like the audiobook narrator, so I'm probably not gonna get to it anytime soon, or not gonna read it or prioritize it anytime soon. Instead, I started reading yesterday the Andromeda Strain, which is for my apocalyptic book genre. I read 42%, and it's by the same author that wrote Jurassic Park. But right now, the pacing is quite nice. Like, it doesn't feel like I read 42% of this book. Lately, I read a lot of big books, so this one is just going really fast for me. Okay, so I did manage to finish the Andromeda Strain. It is about a group of scientists who have this contingency plan in case something goes wrong. There is an organism that is gonna wipe out the world, whatever. An entire town just happens to drop dead, and they find out that there's this like organism that they call the Andromeda Strain that is affecting people. So they need to find out very fast how to stop it. And so luckily the government has this major facility, top secret, and that's where they have their own experiments and all that. So we are just getting taken through that, and it's quite scientific, I would say, but overall it was a bit anticlimactic. I want to see more of the plague, kind of like really lean into that, into the like horror of it, and I would have loved to see just feel more apocalypse, even though it's not. But I'm not sure. I think this is just the first book. Will I continue? No. I won't continue, but I read it. It's off my TBR, and I'm happy that at least, because all of these books are either DNFs or they're not bad enough for me to DNF, like they're fine. But yeah, like I don't think this book is particularly memorable. I don't think it's gonna be one of my top favorites. I just don't think I will ever think about it ever again. But at least it's not a DNF, because I feel like for this video I've been DNFing a lot of books. So yeah, now on to the next one. Making progress on my low priority TBR actually yesterday, because I did pick up one of the books, which I think is for nonfiction. It's Lost at Sea by John Wukowitz, and I basically read like 70% of it. I'm finishing today, and then now I only have 2 books left, one of which is Imaginary Friend, and I will be putting it on my April TBR because it was chosen by Darius. And then all I have left is 8 Perfect Murders, and I am leaving that one for last because I really don't want to read it. I don't feel like reading thrillers, to be honest. So far, Lost at Sea is about this war hero, racer turned pilot turned war hero, who has been sent on a mission to tell something to one of the important people. I don't really know who, and he boards the plane, and this is before or during World War II, and he boards the plane. They have some issues, whatever, almost crash. Then he decides to rush the pilot on the next plane and says, don't do any checkups, just go, we're late, I'm impatient. And because he's such a hero and he's a celebrity, the captain basically is reluctant, but they take off, only to realize that their navigation system is not working, and they're flying basically in the same waters as Amelia Earhart was when she disappeared because of her navigation system or whatever happened. They ditch, get on rafts, and then they spend a long time at sea, and it's actually dual point of views. It's from it brings insight to what was happening on land when they found out these people disappeared and how they were searching for them, and what the media thought, and their point of views, like when they were in the ocean, whatever, starving, thirsty, all of that, and how this war hero, I forgot what his name was, I can't remember, how this war hero basically was giving them encouragement and took over instead of the captain, leadership. I just took a pill. I woke up with a headache actually, but I just took a pill and I hope it ends. And then Darius, my roommate, is officially moving in today. At 8 p.m. is his flight. He lands here, and I'm working tomorrow morning. I'm actually working a really long flight, so I won't be able to see him
So guys, I finally picked up Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, and I read 20% of it, and I didn't really like it. I don't know, it just made me feel anxious, and overall, I just didn't care enough to continue. So there's a reason why these books are low priority, and I said it before in this video, but I will say it again. These are books that have been on my radar for a while that I never picked up because I wasn't interested enough. I wanted to read them. They're not the invisible category books where I've had them on my TBR, but I just don't really feel like picking them up anytime soon, and they're just, I don't even see them anymore. These are books that I always say, I want to pick them up, I want to pick them up, I want to pick them up, but I'm not interested enough to actually prioritize them. So most of these are going to be probably DNFs, and this one was a DNF, unfortunately. It's also too long for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I read some really long books this year, really long, and I'm actually so proud of myself because last year me and the me of 2 years ago would not read so many thick, long books. But I'm proud of myself. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Not every book is gonna be for me, but this is why we're doing this experiment, so that I could at least give these books a try. Now, I only have final book left. It only took me like 4 months for this video. I have one final book left, and that book is 8 Perfect Murders. I am considering DNFing, but I want to at least give it a chance and read 10%. I'm not interested in that book, to be honest, but I will give it a chance just for the video. And if I end up liking it, that's great, awesome. Because for Lost at Sea, I also felt uninspired, unmotivated to read it, and then it ended up being such a good book. Like, I genuinely enjoyed it. So I'm just opening myself up for new experiences. Yesterday, I started reading 8 Perfect Murders, which is the final book. I'm 4 chapters in, and I can already tell that I'm going to enjoy this one and will not DNF it, at least not so far. Basically, I'm going in blind. It says it's a memoir at the beginning of the book, and I thought it was like a thriller, horror, murder, mystery, something. But maybe it's based on real events. I don't know. Maybe I will let you know later on. But so far, it's about this guy working at a bookstore or owning a bookstore, I'm not entirely sure, and he is an avid fan of crime literature, like thrillers, whatever, and years ago he made this list called 8 Perfect Murders, and he talks about 8 perfect murders within fiction. So I think it was 8 books that wrote how to get away with the perfect murder, and then dead bodies start appearing, and then an agent appears in his life and inquires about the books on the list and if they had possibly anything to do with the bodies and the crimes committed, the way they died. And so I'm thinking that somebody out there, or they're thinking that somebody out there might be following his list and committing the murders based on the list. So far, I have to say that I am really intrigued and enjoying the book. I'm wondering where this is going to go or how this is going to go. But yeah, I will continue and won't DNF yet. But if I do, I will let you know. Because yeah, I think I will check in when I'm at a 50% mark. If you see my red face, it's because I'm sunburned. I just came home from Spain after spending a week there. I wasn't even outside at all that much. I mean, I was, but I wasn't. And yeah, I'm not putting any makeup on. I just got home like 3-4 hours ago. I'm exhausted, but I wanted to give you an update, and I wanted to tie this video up finally. Oh my god, my phone just fell. Tie this video up finally because it took me 4 months to film. Because towards the end, I was just scheduling 1 book a month instead of like prioritizing this video. And it's because I wasn't looking forward to some of the books on this list. What would happen with my voice? Some of the books on this list. And finally, I had only left 8 Perfect Murders. I am DNFing it at 47%. I did read 47%. I ended up DNFing it because the beginning was good, but then it lost me. The main character is kind of not even a villain, but just he's a morally great character, and I'm not really interested in finishing, if that makes sense. I'm not reading this. But again, low priority. I just wanted to give them a chance, and thanks to this video I actually did, even though it ended up being not for me. So to recap all the books, for romance I read The Fine Print. I gave it 2 stars. For romantasy, I DNF'd The Book of Azrael. Sci-fi, I reread All Systems Red, and I rated it 3.75 stars. For non-fiction, I read Lost at Sea, but I don't rate non-fiction, but I loved it. Apocalyptic, I read The Andromeda Strain, rated it 2 stars. I did watch the miniseries, loved it. For fantasy, I DNF'd Zodiac Academy Book 1, The Awakening. For horror, I DNF'd The Imaginary Friend. For history, I DNF'd The Deep. And for thriller, I DNF'd 8 Perfect Murders. So in total, I read 4 books for this video and 5 were a DNF, which not ideal, but also not bad, because at least I was actually expecting to only read 1 book. Nothing over 4 stars yet. The best one that I had was 3.75 stars, which used to be a 5-star read previously, All Systems Red. And that brings us to the end, to episode 1. And I've actually already got prepared books for episode 2 because people have been voting on them. And I know what I'm gonna read. I'm excited, but also some of the books I'm side-eyeing a little bit because I'm not sure if I'm gonna read them. But again, low priority TBR. If I'm not reading them for this video, I probably never will prioritize them. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was fun. It took me 4 months, so I think I'll probably see you in 5-6 months from now. Bye!